That's more drinking coffee.
I wish I was still down here.
Yeah.
That means vacation wouldn't be.
Her iced tea was
I know.
hot.
I know.
My caffeine.
They miss it.
I'm Amy Rosenthal, Nashville Residences. Yes.
I like that.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission meeting for July the 11th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m., Lawrenceburg Council Chambers. Ms. Brookbank, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Executive Director Brian Messmore.
Here.
President Richard Richardson.
Present.
Vice President Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Secretary Kevin Schaefer.
Here.
Member Janie Wilson.
Here?
Member Brian Johnson.
Present.
Lawrenceburg School Board Member Brian Jansen. Not here. And City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Brookbank. We have one set of meeting minutes from June 13th, 2022 to approve. If we've had time to review those, I will take a motion for that approval.
So move.
We have a motion from Brian. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Lenny. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. To the board and to Director Messmore, do we have any announcements for this meeting?
I have one, adding under old business, some discussion and/or presentation of the Union Hall contract.
Okay. And we'll
Was it in the packets?
Yes. Late, but yes.
Yeah.
We got it
we
labeled.
it
We
out.
did receive the contract for review.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm gonna add that to old business and we'll
I just
hash it out.
put on the
Okay.
initial, so
Any other announcements?
Okay, I was just worried it wasn't in the packet.
If not, we will move on to our financial report. Ms. Brookbank, when you're ready.
As of July 5th, 2022, the balance for redevelopment is $1,921,540.68. And after monies promised to projects, it's $1,626,793.58.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions in regard to that?
Don't spend it all.
Well, we'll try not to. We have to rein you in. We'll go on to new business, and under Director Messmore, we have residential lot development proposals.
Okay, if you all may allow me to help us all remember, we advertised for our vacant lots around town. There were a total of 5 on High Street and 1 on Short Street. We advertised for those lots back in April. We had a proposal pre-response meeting on June 7th, and all RFPs were due June 29th. After some early interest, we did not receive any proposals by the deadline or at all on June 29th at 1 p.m. So obviously we're going to need to decide what the next direction is. I will throw out there that I would be more than happy to present some options at the next meeting for some opportunities for a broader outreach to, in the form of whatever that is, I'm not sure, but I will be happy to discuss with legal this month about what those options are to expand the outreach for the same information to try to attract a larger audience.
Is the board okay with allowing that to be on next month's agenda and then having Director Messmore do some research for us and bring us those options so that we can move forward with this? Is anybody
Yeah.
opposed to that? I think it would be good if we just added that to there, Ms. Brookbank.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, appreciate it. We'll move forward in that direction.
Yeah, a lot of the work's complete. It's just, which direction do we go? So I think trying to reach a broader audience is probably the best way to try to attract the most for what we've invested.
I agree. We'll move on to second order of new business, which is our tax credit housing update. I understand we have an application due on July 29th.
That is correct. So if I can, I'll put this back in a box for all of us. If you remember, last year we submitted, or in 21, I think we submitted, so we started the work in 20, we submitted in 21 on the Durbin Plaza lot over by the bowling alley in the adult center. We call it the tax credit housing project. We submitted, and there in this project, remember, there's 3 partners. There's the city, the model group, and the not-for-profit. And we had Episcopal Retirement Services as that not-for-profit partner. And tonight we're going to meet National Church Residences. And they're here to talk about where we're at with the project. But we are on schedule for submittal on the 29th. I am asking tonight that to approve for me to be able to sign the contract upon legal's final review. It is the same contract that we had last time. It's just the different dates. We're settling on the final costs of the project. I think the last one was around 12 million. This will probably be a little more than that. But the city's contribution is 10%, and that's a combination of land, cash. I think last time we had it formed as a loan, and in kind, or things that we can do with electric and water and things like that to chip away at our contribution. So fundamentally, it's the same project. Switch the building around a little bit to accommodate the ponding area, and we're still discussing the number of units, but it may be a small amount than fewer amount of units than the last time. I think the last count roughly was 52. I'm not sure. I mean, we're still kind of molding it down into the physical specifications, so I don't know if that's final, but it's close. Good project. And we all had discussed and agreed to do this one more time. I don't know what our chances are. We're going to give it a great effort and submit on the 29th, and let the chips fall. If you guys would like to come up, if they may.
Sure.
Good evening. I'm Lasair Bradley, President of Development with the Model Group, and we appreciate you giving us some time tonight. And with me is Amy Rosenthal, Vice President at National Church Residences, and she's going to do most of the explaining here. I'll pass something out to you in just a moment. As Brian just explained, sort of our continuity has been as the developer in this from the beginning. I'm filling in for Katie Rademacher, who's been working on the project. She's our senior developer, and her family is on the tail end of a COVID quarantine, so she wasn't able to be here tonight. But we are very excited to be working with National Church Residences. As Brian mentioned, Episcopal Retirement Services. We've partnered many times on a lot of senior developments. This was just a function of sort of their geographic focus and current capacity that they were not looking to continue on with an Indiana project. But we have been actually quite active in the last couple of years with National Church Residences, and this was really a perfect fit for what they're doing. And they're doing this, and I'll let Amy talk about them and who they are, but on a much larger scale and significant amount of development really around the country. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Amy to talk about the project and introduce National Church to you. And while she's doing that, I'm going to pass out some additional information.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thanks for having us this evening. You did a great job explaining kind of the status of the project, so better than I think I could have done. So I'll answer any questions about the project. I know probably most importantly introduce National Church Residences. What's that?
Could you repeat that?
No.
Yeah.
Newspapers
Oh, okay.
here. I wanted to make sure they got that.
Thank you.
So as Lasair said, I'm Amy Rosenthal, Vice President of Affordable Housing Development for National Church Residences. Our corporate headquarters are based in Columbus, Ohio. Although we are an owner, developer, and manager and service provider of nearly 370 properties across the country in 24 states. We're the nation's largest not-for-profit provider of senior affordable housing and a national leader in just senior housing in general. So we touch about 46,000 lives on a daily basis between the individuals that we serve and live in our homes, live under our roof. We're a nonprofit organization headquartered in Columbus, but we do own and manage we have 11 different communities in the state of Indiana, about 600 total units. But our closest properties are in Cincinnati, about 30 miles away. We own or manage about 200 units within 3 different communities in Cincinnati. So from a proximity perspective, our development team, I am a part of a 40-member development team, and we are actively doing new senior affordable housing communities, as well as preserving existing senior housing communities that we already own, or that we're actually also acquiring existing income-restricted housing as well. So we're mainly focused in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Florida, and Texas are our key development states that we're in. But we're in a total of 24 states. And as I did say, it's worth repeating that we're a co-developer here. We're the management entity, management company, the long-term owner, as well as service provider. So we have the ability to do all of those things and prefer to do all of those things when we have the opportunity. So happy to pause here and answer any questions that you might have about the organization or but the project in particular.
And I had sent them some information
Okay.
ahead of time, so, and
Yeah, we were able to review quite a bit of information that Brian was able to send over to us before the meeting, so we could be a little bit more familiar with what you offer and what you provide to the residents and the community as a whole. I was impressed by it. I think you seem to be a pretty top-notch organization, much the same as the last organization that we were dealing with. I think one of my primary perspectives when I look at it was to look at it from a holistic approach or a holistic way. And it seems to be that that's where you are all geared toward, is looking
Yes.
at that holistic approach, which is extremely important, I think, for the community as a whole. Could you touch on that a little bit for us, for the people that are here?
The holistic approach to the development or the holistic approach to how we service
How you
senior?
service your seniors.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is how we approach development. We're all in from a developer, manager, property manager, and owner. And so we pride ourselves in not only being a affordable senior housing developer, but also a priority related to the services that we provide residents and meeting their needs. We offer a population health management tool where we assess the residents' health and provide the services that they need. And we partner with local service agencies that already exist and that already serve the senior population. So it's awesome that the senior center is right next door, and we can partner directly with the senior center and either have our residents advertise the services at the senior center, or if it's appropriate, bring the services to the residents of the community. We do a little bit of both. We will, especially at this site, we'll be able to do a little bit of both. So we are most certainly concerned about owning and operating high-quality, affordable housing communities, but also making sure we're meeting the needs of the residents that live there.
That's great. That's exactly that's what appeals to me about it.
Yeah.
And what you offer, what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Anybody have any additional?
and right around the corner from the community center as well.
In the community and the community center, yes.
Anybody else have any questions about the project or about what they offer?
You mentioned long-term. Does your company plan to own the property
Yeah.
40 years?
Yeah, and yeah, we long-term property manage, long-term owner. Our plan, I mean, we've only sold a handful of our properties in our portfolio. And the most recently, we have sold a few of our family communities. We had about 12 of them. And we've just repositioned ourselves and said we're really focused on senior housing, and there's better management and owners for that family population. And so we pride ourselves in that long-term manager. And as I mentioned, we're in the mode of acquisition too. We're buying existing income-restricted senior housing across the country. We just bought a portfolio from the Salvation Army in Texas, for instance, earlier this year. And so that hopefully also validates our long-term approach to the management, that we're buying existing properties to own and manage.
Could you remind me, does the income restriction ever get lifted?
Oh, gosh, in Indiana, I believe it stays on for 30
30 for this, yeah.
30 years.
Okay.
And what we're doing, and we're doing this now, re-syndicating tax credit transactions that we have already developed as LIHTC communities, and then re-syndicating them as and putting another LIHTC on them after that. Every state's rules are different, but we're going back even to LIHTC communities that we built in the 90s and the 80s and doing another, what's called a re-syndication. So keeping that affordability.
Thank you.
What all services do you offer to the seniors specifically?
Well, I know we're working through the services particular for this community. There are some requirements that the state puts on the services that are offered. Right now, we don't necessarily have a service coordinator assigned to the property or,
Right.
but we would most certainly be partnering. Our property management team would work with the senior center and also work with the residents to determine what needs they have. Even it could be as simple as, some diabetes management, all the way from financial literacy or smoking cessation type programs, or wellness, health and wellness, even financial wellness. This population, what we serve here, is a fairly young senior at 55 and up. So there could be a different set of services that are needed for a 55 and up community versus an older, like 62 and up community.
Brian, real quick, what was the, like last year when we applied, was it like a 10% funding? And like, wasn't there 2 different levels of the funding? And last year we went over the bigger
Talking about the
bite.
9% and the 4%.
Maybe. Are we going for the 4 or the 9?
We're attacking the 9%
That's correct.
in this application.
Okay.
And there may be an opportunity, if we're not successful, to find some funding to cover the 4% application if we're not successful. One of the things that I believe, and you can speak to this, is that we may have an opportunity with NCR to fund, match that gap if we can't get the 9% tax credit.
Yeah.
Did I
there-
say that right?
So do we
Yeah.
have to wait another year for the 4%
No.
if we don't qualify for the 9?
So the 9 gets submitted at the end of this month, and I think we find out in mid-November if we're successful. We do have a Plan B approach that we have been talking about and actually talked about a year ago as well on this site. And it's a program called HUD 202. In National Church Residences, we built our portfolio on the HUD 202 program. But HUD recently, over the past couple of years, created a new program, HUD 202, that you mix the 4%. I feel like I can talk about it like this because you seem to know the difference between the 9 and the 4, but you match this HUD 202 award with a 4%. And so that is our Plan B here, that we would love the opportunity to pursue or do both. We're waiting for that HUD to release that application. In fact, we expected it in June, and it's not out yet. So we will be working with Model and exploring the Plan A, the 9%, but also a Plan B through the HUD 202 and the 4% mixed finance transaction.
Well, I just think that, we've been talking about this for a while, and I know that, we had another year to reapply for the 9%. But I think it's just time to get this project, off the ground. And I know we're doing everything we can, but we just want to kind of move it along a little faster. Right?
If I understand correctly, and is that the 4% is not as competitive or non-competitive. It's much more,
Easier to attain.
to attain.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. Just to add one point, there's one other unique thing that's different than before is Indiana created a state low-income housing tax credit, which has not been available prior. The first time that'll become available is mid-2023. So that's another potential resource to add to a federal 4%. That's why it's there, is to try to fill that gap. So it's another possibility.
There are more resources in the toolbox, if you will, than were even there when you submitted the application with ERS. So some of this funding is fairly new, the HUD 202, the availability of a state credit with Indiana. So we're going to use all those tools and apply for them simultaneously if needed, as long as we have your support, of course.
Do you commonly provide transportation for the residents?
No, I would say we can. We can. It's not a given. We have the ability to do that. We do that in a lot of our properties in central Ohio, that they might have like a van, or the property management team could drive folks around. It's not like an automatic. It's not that we can't do it. It's just not an automatic part of the picture.
Certainly would assist and coordinate local transportation options for the residents.
Okay.
You know,
That's right.
what they don't do, they would coordinate.
We could coordinate, most certainly. That, to your question, ma'am, about services, coordinating transportation services, if that's what the resident needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might not be the ones that actually provide the transportation, but find a local service agency that does.
Okay.
Sounds good.
How do we want to tackle this? Do we want to tackle this as a motion to approve national church residences and then a motion to approve the application? Or do we want to lump this all into one?
I'd do them separate.
All right, let's take a motion, if we're all in favor, or see where we stand. Motion to approve national church residences as the nonprofit arm of our application.
So moved.
We have a motion from Jenny and then a second from Brian. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for your presentation. We
All right,
appreciate
thank you for your
it.
support.
Working with you. And then we will take a motion to approve the application after being reviewed by legal.
And the associated contract with the application.
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Lenny. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Jenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Not Jenny, Janie. I apologize. You know what's throwing me off tonight?
What's that?
Brian's always over here. Always. And now tonight, Brian's
Yeah.
on this side.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
my
Justin's
whole-
got my spot, so
My whole world
I'll
is
throw
just
that
off kilter.
And something tells me your nameplates aren't right. Are they?
No.
Because there's really,
No, those are not.
okay.
well, I think mine's right.
Is that Lenny? Does that say Lenny?
Councilmember Fryman.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's him. He is in his seat. So.
His phone hasn't gone off yet.
Did you turn your phone off?
Do what?
Did you turn your phone off?
Your phone hasn't gone off.
I didn't
yet.
bring it in, thank you very much.
That's why. It's not going off because he didn't have it. All right, we will.
One very minor point of clarification, the application's due on the 25th,
Okay.
and it was stated 29th. Not that that 4 days is going to make or break our ability to get it done, but we are in the
Oh, good.
final throes of getting it done.
Yeah.
That's good to know,
Did
yeah.
you get that date
We'll
correct,
turn it in on time.
Hermish?
Yes, I got it.
Especially since we have site control.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll move on to Jenny Fowler, the funding for the small business program.
Yes, it's nice to see you all again. Hasn't been that long since I was in here before, and I was thinking that you may not have my card. You have my card, and how you get a hold of me.
I have you on speed dial.
Yep. Well, it's that time of year again, the time of year that you can hold me accountable, and that I request again continued support for the Indiana Small Business Development Center. Hopefully in your packets, you all received a form that looks like that. If you can pull that out. This year I did a little crazy graphics, but hopefully to make it a little bit easier to know. This is just for Dearborn County. The Indiana Small Business Development Center covers things by counties. So just to review, our region is the Southeast region. There are 10 regions in the ISBDC within Indiana. We are the largest landmass region. We have 14 counties. I personally cover 6 of them: Franklin, Dearborn, Ripley, Ohio, Switzerland, Decatur. Within Dearborn County, there are 6 municipalities that I support just within Dearborn County. and that would be what's covered on the top of this, or in this report. In those 6 counties this past year, within Dearborn County this past year, we did really, really well. And in those 6 counties, we did really, really well. Maybe coming out of COVID, but small businesses were doing very well this past year. So if you go to this form, on the left side of the form is more generalized information, on the right side specific to Dearborn County. And so just to start out on the left, the southeast region I highlighted in blue there, this past year we had 52 business starts just in our 14 counties. Now in Dearborn County we had 10. And keep in mind, I cover 6 counties, but we had 10 in Dearborn County. We were the second region in all of Indiana for business starts in 2021. Underneath that new business starts section, it has a little section in blue that says the 6 county results. Those 6 counties are my 6 counties, the counties that I cover. We had a total of 18 business starts total. And my capital infusion this year was over $3 million, which is the first time in my 7.5 years that I've broken the $3 million mark, which means we put in over $3 million. Those businesses put in over $3 million into their businesses in that year. Over on the right, is specific to Dearborn County, 46 clients served, 16 were long-term clients. Long-term clients are those ones that I have done, had advising and consultation services for over 5 hours. 30 jobs were created, 10, keeping in mind that these businesses oftentimes are, they're startups, and so they're one-person businesses to start with. But the 30 new jobs were created out of the businesses in Dearborn County. We had 10 business starts, and the capital infusion for Dearborn County was $2.139 million of the $3 million. So Dearborn County was a heavy hitter. At the bottom, I know you guys like to see this, so at the bottom I put the clients impacted. You can tell kind of which ones are in Lawrenceburg specifically, J. Bussey, Parkside, Huntington, Carriage House, Couches, Barbershop, and Billyco. I almost missed that one, Billyco. So those were all specific business starts for just Lawrenceburg. Above and beyond that, this year, I kind of wanted to share some of the things that I do above and beyond what I'm supposed to do. Just so you have an idea, those are the active extras. I'm active in the Lawrenceburg Partnership Committee. I have been in for that for 4 or 5 years since that started. The Lawrenceburg Sherpas, which I do with Brian and Michelle Cohn. I'm on the One Dearborn Business Retention and Expansion Committee. I work with BABA, which is Bright Area Business Association. I did an April meeting presentation, any presentations that they'd like. I went to all the Ready Grant application and presentation preparation days. I do Maverick Challenge in the school, so I taught 2 classes for Maverick Challenge at the business school over in Lawrenceburg. I did Sunman Revitalization Consult, so I went and consulted them on how they can start a Main Street in Sunman or actively engage their small business community. I do Lawrenceburg grant presentations, which you're going to see that again today. And I did the Dillsboro Showcase participation, all of which are not required by the Indiana Small Business Development Center. And that's just in Dearborn County. So I want you to know that you can feel confident that I'm actively engaged in your community. Brian can attest to that, I am sure. I tend to push Brian on things, and I want it to be better. And I think because of the things that you have done and the things that you have allowed me to cooperate with you on, Lawrenceburg is significantly better today than it was when we started. Just to give you an example, so at 7.5 years I've been doing this, which might be the longest of anyone you've had here. And in 7.5 years ago when I started, The biggest and most active building in downtown Lawrenceburg was the Work One office, which is unemployment. Today, it's not even in downtown Lawrenceburg. You know what the activity is going on. You can see all the small businesses, right? I drive down here with my family and I say, oh, yep, they're my client, and they're my client, they're my client, and they're my client. And it makes me feel proud of all the things that we've done together. So thank you very much for allowing me to continue to work with you on these things, and for listening to me, Brian, and Michelle. Also, Michelle isn't here tonight, but and for working with me on these things. It excites me. It makes me get up every day. I'm excited to work with people that I really like. And so I hope that this was satisfactory. If you have questions about this, I'm more than happy to answer them. I even went back and did a 5-year snapshot. We have been ramping up every year. And Dearborn County's and Lawrenceburg is by far, a big driver in that. And it's exciting. It's exciting. So, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to do. I have clients trying to get into Lawrenceburg every day. They come in my office and they want to see, where can we go? The number one thing that is holding us back is locations. We have a really, really hard time finding a location for these people. It's the first thing that they need to do in their business plan, is to find a location. It's the thing that drives all the cost, or most of the cost, and it drives their business model often, and how well they're going to do. And so anything that we can do together to make locations more available for small businesses will open up the downtown. So the last thing I need to do is to ask you if you will consider continuing to support the Indiana Small Business Development Center in this area. You have supported in the past. Thank you very much for that. You have supported us to the tune last year $4,000, as well as Main Street also supports us. And I really appreciate it. How the money works is we, as a state, are given money from the Small Business Administration, which is a federal entity. It is matched by dollars from the state at the state level. And then I technically work for Purdue University. They are our institution of higher learning in the Southeast region. They also bring some money to the table. And then whatever we can raise from the local municipalities also helps to go with the match, the state match. So that's how it works. It all goes into that pot for the Southeast region, and that's how I get paid. That's how we continue to make these things free, no charge, for the people who come in and use the service. So thank you very much. If you have questions, please.
I would just reiterate, as I did last year, I think what you do is a valuable service for this community and any community that you touch. And I think when you have the right people doing the right things, it shows. And when you talk about what you do and we see you do what you do, there is a glow and a light that is about you that it's a natural thing. And it's because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And
I really, really like it.
I think is vital, because starting a business is not easy. It's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to these meetings. You have to figure out what your profit loss is going to be. You have to figure out your 5-year projections. You have to get all of these ducks in a row before you can even think about moving down the road. So just because you've got a great idea or even a great business model, there's so many other pieces that have to be put in place. And to offer somebody like you to partner with these people that have these great ideas and these great visions, I think it's an invaluable service. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I would have no problem asking for a motion to move forward with that $4,000 ask that you have.
Well, I appreciate all the things that you said. I actually, I never thought I would be doing this that long. I do it because I really, really like it. I really like it.
Yeah, it shows.
And I think we've been successful, especially since we started working together. And you're right, it's super difficult to start a business from scratch. I appreciate all the things you said. One of the things I I haven't shared yet are some of the new things that we have. The Indiana Small Business Development Center uses a lot of resources, and I have a lot of resources. Another thing I didn't share either is my background is in agriculture, and that was a couple lives ago. Anyway, but that said, they asked me to be agricultural advisor within the state of Indiana. We just started a new program that focuses on agriculture, and I'm one of the people that they ask to help with that. So in the Southeast region, I try to cover all the ag clients. My ag client this year got Rural Entrepreneur of the Year in the state of Indiana. So she's not in Dearborn County, just outside, up near St. Leon. She's in Franklin County, but she did, so I was really happy about that. And one of the things that we developed, and I brought a sample for you so you could see it. The Lead Center did this, and it's a fantastic guide, and it's a resource that I thought maybe you could look at. It is a guide to starting a new business. And you can take, and I'm sure you'll want to do this on your own. You're free to write if you want to read. It has a lot of the things that we all got together and we said, this is how we consult people. And I was telling someone today about how great this resource was. We have this in digital form too. They did a really professional job. It's fantastic from beginning to end. But I was saying, this is really awesome. You know, a lot of young people want to be able to go online and find all these things and go ahead and do them, which that's great. But you know what? This does not take the place of having someone to sit down with. The young people that come in and talk to me, or the older people that my age that come in to talk to me that want to start businesses, there is nothing that helps them more than to say, well, that's normal, right? Or this is what you can expect. Or here's where you go. This is the person that you can go to. There's nothing better than to be able to say, look, Brian Messmore is the person you need to talk to. Here's his email address and his phone number, right? There's nothing better than for somebody to come in your office and they're pulling their hair out and you can hold their hand and say, here, follow me and allow me to show you this is what you do. And this, as good as this is, and I really think it is, and I think you should go through it and share it with anybody that you know of. But that said, as good as this is, it isn't the same as having someone there. And the SBA knew that. That's why they developed it. So.
I can't second your motion, but I'll second what she just said.
Yeah, it's
Do we have a
awesome.
motion?
Yeah, do we have a motion to move forward with the $4,000 to, what would we call this? This
I don't
is
think we do. I'll make that motion.
motion has been made.
approve
We have a
4,000.
second.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank
you as
you.
always for what you do.
I think now my client's getting up, right?
Don't go anywhere.
still up.
You've got
Yeah, I think she's gonna get up and
Angela
talk to you a little
Erfman
bit.
with a new business presentation for us. Hello, Angela.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good,
We
how
have
are you
copies, just so you know.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
First, I want to introduce myself. I'm Angela Erfman. Again, I want to thank everyone for their time today and the opportunity to present this business plan. Again, I'm originally from Aurora, Indiana. I graduated from South Dearborn High School in 1993. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps. After 6 years of service, I was honorably discharged. I returned back to Lawrenceburg and went back to college and got my bachelor degree from Thomas More in accounting. I have over 20-plus years of experience in accounting in public and private. So after spending about 13 years in Knoxville, Tennessee, my husband and I decided to move back to Lawrenceburg to be closer to family. I have 3 children. I have one who's going to be a senior at Lawrenceburg High School. I have a son who's going to be a junior at the University of Cincinnati, and then my daughter lives in Greendale with her son. So over the last 15 years, I've had the opportunity to build and remodel homes for either purchase or flip. And most of my designs and layouts and purchases for those homes were from a home decor boutique in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I took all those experiences that I had with that shop, and I've been working towards opening my own business with that same concept that they provided me when I was there. So given the growth and opportunity in this area, my goal is to bring a variety of that home furnishes, including furniture, lighting, artwork, gifts, holiday goods, and more, allowing consumers to purchase directly off the floor so that inventory can stay current and move quickly. I've spent roughly the last 8 months working on this business plan and financials for this store. So in order to provide more details about the business and financials, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jenny.
All right, that was awesome. Good job. Okay, so you guys in your packets should have the presentation of the business plan. It is following our same format that we have been following for the plans. First page, and I'm just going to walk through that with you for the little bit more information. Okay, so first page, name of visit home.47025 LLC. And Angela Erfman is the owner. The objective today is we're asking for the $25,000 grant to finish the first floor space at 304 Short Street, and that is for retail occupation. 304 Short Street is right there on the corner of Center and Short. It's the big new building that is gray. It's beautiful looking, right? So she will be in the first floor of that. This is for trendy retail home furnishings and accessories. You already heard her current career is a corporate accountant. She has redesigned several homes with a lot of success, and this will be a limited liability company established in the state of Indiana with Angela Erfman as its sole member. So let's take a look at the market for a moment. Target customers, because it's the first thing that we talk about in small businesses. Who is your target customer? She has 3 main groups. All of them are dominated by women, not surprising, right? The first is the young newbies group, which would be women aged 26 to 35. These are women who have their first home and they're trying to decorate on a dime, right? The next is the mid-families women. They are aged 36 to 45. These are family homes, right? And they're upgrading or they're decorating to stay stylish. And then the last are veteran redecorators. These are older women, right? Women aged 46 to 55, not necessarily older, that old, but empty nesters possibly. And they're looking for decorating refresh. Okay, when you look at the market description, right, aged 26 to 55-year-old women, they're with over $30,000 in their household income. Within a 10-mile radius of Lawrenceburg, there are 18,612 people in this category. Also, just as a point of reference, there are over 25,000 households in that 10-mile radius that we're targeting. So if you think about it like this, if 1% of that population, so if there was a 1% market share, that would be, and each one of them only bought one thing a year, that would be about 186 items per year. If that 1% spent $500 a year on that item, that would be $93,000 in revenue a year for only 1% market share. So, which is very small penetration. You will see at the end then what her break even is right around $77,000, I think it is. So that would be far and away above what you would need to break even. The value proposition for this, which is that thing which she is going to do different in her store than anybody else doing what she's doing, and that is these are unique home furnishings, not something you can find just anywhere, that it's an inspirational and comfortable setting that they're going to be displayed in. So who are her competitors? I asked, I asked people to come up with at least their top 3. We came up with these top 4. The first is, of course, Home Furniture Company, which is across the street, but that is the flooring company, right? Strengths, they are local and they have a good reputation. It's a good company, right? Weaknesses, they are going to be higher prices and a more traditional style, right? Her opportunity to sell against them is having more trendy styles and to buy off the floor rather than ordering furniture. Some threats, they might have better discounts, and it's a one-stop shopping kind of place because you can get more than just furniture and accessories. The other is Big Lots. You know, their big strength is they're really, really, really cheap, right? They do have modern styles, but they're limited to a very bland and consistent offering. They have limited accessories, you know, so her opportunity to sell against them is very similar, more trendy and unique styles and competitive pricing. Of course, the threats are always going to be deep discounts with someone like Big Lots. The other competitor would be Gamble's. That's over in Aurora, right? Very similar to Home Furniture Company. They're local. They have a good reputation. Higher prices, though, and very traditional offerings. Her opportunity to sell against them is, again, offering the more trendy styles, because if you look at the target customer group, they're looking for those kinds of upgrades to their own homes. Walmart, very similar to Big Lots, right? The big thing they have going for them is they're cheap, even cheaper than Big Lots, to be honest, and similar opportunities to sell against them. Okay, if we move on to, any questions so far? Okay, moving on to the product and service description. You can see, I tried to take Angela's photos and her inspirational pieces and put that over on the right so you can get an idea of the kinds of things that might be in the store. And then on the left, you can see the categories are custom signs, furniture, lighting, and home accessories. And then you can also see the retail pricing is anywhere from, you know, that $1, but that's probably low, but $500 up to the $4,500. All right, that's where her retail prices are going to be located. All right, moving on to operations. Now, the photo that I had for the building is a little old because they have fixed that corner, or they've painted it anyway. But it's 304 Short Street, right there on Center and Short. And yeah, they painted the downstairs part of it too. Her hours are going to be Monday through Wednesday, 1 to 5, Thursday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sundays closed. When Lawrenceburg is having their events, specifically, you know, the events, Music on the River, and then the other events that they pull people in from out of town, she is going to have expanded hours. Labor requirements. Angela is going to be the main laborer, right? She's the manager, one full-time. She'll be doing, you know, all the things, the many hats that small business people wear: sales, inventory management, purchasing, marketing, accounting, bookkeeping, and anything else that needs to be done. She does plan on having one part-time assistant in sales to cover the floor. Okay, her marketing plan. Just in the marketing plan, looking at a couple industry statistics, and we looked at these more in depth when we did Jay Bussey, but two things that kind of jump out. Over the industry now and going forward in 5 years should have increased home buyers, and we know that for sure. Lots of people out there looking to buy homes. And then the real estate industry is expected then to drive the home decor market. 48% increase in the market share is expected from 2020 to 2026, which I think is interesting for home decor. Her growth and strategy initially is to establish social media accounts, which she's already starting that. She wants to advertise in the surrounding communities. She also wants to do some interesting things, staging some of her furniture and decor for businesses. And so, as an example, real estate, things like that. And then home builders. She wants to promote local Indiana wholesalers, so those people who are making furniture or items, accessory items, any of those things who are local. And then she's going to communicate with customers through several different programs. We've talked about reward programs, targeted ads through Google and Facebook. She wants to use, of course, the social media platforms, but contact information on all of her sites, which means across Google, right? Making sure that all of the places where the customer may touch you online all have all consistent information. You'd think that's not a big deal. It is the number one reason why people can't be found out there. And then making sure that the merchandise and location is stocked well on our website. Okay, that's the talking part. Now we're going to do the numbers part. Financial analysis. So here are the startup costs, right? She basically, I break things down into fixed asset purchases and operating purchases before you open. She has leasehold improvements of $29,573. She has another equipment of $500 and other assets, including signage and things like that, for $6,300, for a total of $36,373 of asset purchases. Okay, those are fixed, tangible items. Operational purchases include inventory, which is our biggest one at little over $24,000, and then a few licenses. So that's kind of the high-level overview of the purchases pre-opening. Looking at the funding sources, her down payment, meaning her part she's bringing, is at least $31,841. The estimated grants that she would like to apply for, one is the Small Business Improvement Grant for $25,000, and then a Blade Sign Grant for up to $4,000. Her loans, so because, she's in accounting, right? So she looks at it this way. This owner investment she is making as a loan to herself, and we've assumed that at 3%, and she wants to be paid back an extra 3% over 60 months. That's for the $31,841. All right, after all the summary of outcomes, so the next 3 years' worth of projections are done. Year one, she's not projecting a net improvement, but she's starting in the middle of the year. So she's projecting a net loss actually to herself, which is not surprising in the least. In year two, she's projecting a slight profit at $91.88. And then year three, we show a definite improvement. And now we get over that 20% threshold, rule of thumb threshold for net income percent, and we're looking at approximately $43,625 for overall profitability. Interesting, okay, the break even I put at the bottom, which is $77,194 break even. Remember I said the 1% market share would blow that out of the water. That was $93,000 was 1% market share. That's 154 units at $500 each. That is the extent of the business plan, and actually a whirlwind tour through it. Any questions?
Angela, will you have the entire first floor?
Yeah.
Of the
Well, I believe it's in sections. So in the back part, I believe there's an apartment that the two people are living in. So it'll be, the majority will be the first floor.
Okay. Do you know how many square feet it is?
I believe it is, I think 900 to 1,100
Okay.
square feet of space.
I'm excited about the shop. I know Megan will love to hop in there.
Get her for 2 units.
Yeah, really.
Two a week.
She just offset that other percentage.
Yeah.
One of the things that Brian had made mention of, and I think it's bears repeating, it does expand the footprint of the walking
Yes.
retail aspect of the city of Lawrenceburg. We do have some businesses over here, and that kind of carries it down, and then it flows nicely down to the stage.
And the proof, I think. I mean, ideally, I would want to be on Main Street, but after just looking at the traffic that flows down to Main Street and the stage, I felt like it was an opportunity to be in there.
Well, you
Plus,
get
I
a
was
lot-
limited on space.
That's true. You get a lot of traffic that comes down that way. Plus, you get all those people that are buying the new flooring and whatnot over there. And it's,
Yes.
look at that nice little let's go check it
Store, yes.
Is this
out."
a
Hey,
Also, a municipal parking lot across the street.
true.
part-time or full-time for you?
I'm going to be full-time.
You're full-time, you're giving up your job, and
Well, I might do some of my job on the side, but
Okay.
I am going to do this
so you're gonna be
full-time.
there full-time?
Mm-hmm,
An hour.
yes,
And then possibly, if the business takes off, expanded hours as well?
yes. Well, expanded hours, definitely during like Music on the River, I definitely want to be in there. But if it picks up, ideally, I would like to hire somebody, more people to work, so I'm not stuck there 40 to 60 hours a week, but yes.
And if this money doesn't come through tonight, do you still plan on doing it yourself?
Yes, I do,
Thank you.
so.
Any additional questions from the board? Do we have a motion to provide the $25,000 new business grant to Home 47025 LLC and Angela Erfman?
Discussion real quick.
Yes, sir.
And just as a reminder that if you vote in favor of this, this will be very similar to all of our other partnerships with small businesses, that it's not payable until certificate of occupancy, proper documentation of all expenditures, and Kelly will help us accomplish that goal. You have to be in business for all the standard language that we use in our for this particular grant will be included in that.
Yeah, I noticed in the contract there with your builder, it was, he was gonna take payments on draws. So that's why I think it was important that Brian said that, as long as you're able to front it up,
Yes,
fine.
I can.
I'll make the motion, move forward, the 25 plus up to 4,000 for the blade sign.
Now, the blade sign, is
No,
that,
we're not doing the.
That-
not doing the blade?
Yeah,
Oh, it's just a,
This will be just the
Yeah.
$25,000 for the
Yeah.
small
oh, the
business.
blade sign will run through Main Street.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
But you make,
I put that on there so that, because a lot of times when I present these, you like to know what other things are they applying for.
Well, I'll say 25,000 then, make the motion.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Lenny. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
I'll abstain.
And we have one abstention. Can we get a roll call vote, Ms. Brookbank?
Yes, Lenny Fryman,
What's your vote?
Yes.
Oh, she's
Kevin Schaefer,
Abstain.
Janie Wilson,
Yes.
Brian Johnson,
Yes.
and Richard Richardson.
Yes. That being said, majority have voted in favor, so congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you
I
very
That
appreciate
blade
it.
sign go out over the front door?
I am still working on that design, and I have to take it to the historical district to get that approved, so,
Good luck.
Good
thank
answer.
you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Next item under new business, our last item under new business, is our drawing department contract. City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Yes, we please the commission. We are, I just asked to table this. There are two phases for, I was gonna break the agreements with the drawing department into two phases, but it sounds like, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, that you guys were in there last week. I did get so with a construction project like this, and we voted on, if you recall, we voted on not just the project parameters, but also the method of delivery, and that's relevant to what Indiana law allows us to do in terms of a construction contract. So those are written down in what's called an AIA document based on their different AIA construction documents that are boilerplate, but then we make adjustments based on our needs. I did receive those, or I had a pledge to receive those from Maxwell on Friday. Typically, that's the way it works because it's very expensive to have subscription to allow us to have, to allow access to those kind of contracts. So we usually do get them from the construction company, but then we negotiate them. So it took a little bit longer, but we do have a pledge to get those. I will turn those around quickly, and there'll be multiple subsets of agreements, but there'll be one agreement between us and the construction manager, one agreement between us and the architect. So I think we're okay to wait on that because they're working. We've already voted to approve them, so they already have that pledge from us. Most of the parameters are already set. It's just the formal documents, and like I said, I'll get this done as quickly as I can, and maybe if the need arises, we'll have a special work session this month yet if we want to approve them, or we can wait until the next to the August meeting.
All right, can we get a motion to table the drawing department contract?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Janie. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries.
And I would add the comment to that, if we do happen to get those done sooner than later, I would urge us to go ahead and have a meeting.
Special session,
and
work session.
And get them rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can do.
All right, if there's no more
Not to put
item,
any pressure on you.
No, I want to get going as fast as we can. It's a great project.
if we have no more items under new business, we will move on to old business. Mr. Messmore, I believe you have a row house update for us this evening.
Yeah, quickly, just to bring everybody up to date, this is 140, 146 East High, the row house. If you recall, we agreed to sort of partner with Indiana Historic Landmarks and give them an opportunity to do a structural feasibility analysis of the property and see if it fits within their parameters to invest their money in, store the property, and in return sell it and get their money back. So I just want to give you an update on where they're at with that. They have a proposal for the structural survey. The board has to approve that action to begin. So they are moving forward. It is a little, for those of us who feel the anxiety of trying to get that building renovated, as well as try to manage, our financial contribution to that. This seems to be a pretty favorable path for us in those terms. But the time keeps passing. So, been talking to Jared on a pretty much routine basis, daily basis, to keep things moving. So, he did mention, and I do not need any action on this tonight, but he talked about maybe getting an option on the property. And I haven't talked to Dell about this. This is information that just came in today, this afternoon, which would give him a little bit of a leg up when it comes to beginning to build some relationships and perhaps move that property. So I will discuss that with legal, and if it seems reasonable to pursue that path, we'll bring it back before the board.
But the wheels are a spin.
The wheels are rolling. I'm not sure they're spinning yet.
They're slowly
Forward, yeah.
picking some traction.
Yeah.
They're always spinning.
Mr. Messmore, do you have anything to add to the Main Street report for this evening?
No, it's included in your packets for your review. As Jenny stated, the locations are becoming a bit of an issue. The Sherpa have gone to the next level of evaluating properties, contacting property owners, meeting with them, touring their properties, just trying to match people up to the right places at the right time. And it's a plan, do, check, act cycle daily almost. Somebody will come to town and we have another game, small board game operation business that's been looking. This is the second one, I believe, in a fairly short amount of time.
My third one.
Yes, yeah.
That book in here, yes.
So one of those gathering places, and I think their style was ordering out and that kind, supporting the other local businesses. But finding a spot for them right now is is difficult, and that's where the $25,000 small business grant has been helpful in working with the property owners. It gives them some incentive not to put a professional service in that space. So, did you like that one? Professional service. So, huh?
You doctored it up.
Yeah.
That's Kevin too, man. Not just me.
Yeah.
Made it sound nice, Brian.
So, but those, you know, Seer can probably tell you it gets tight sometimes and we have to get creative, so.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
All right, and we've added, under old business, as was discussed earlier, Union Hall.
Yeah.
Contract had been delivered to us earlier in the day.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a shot at this real quick, and then I'll let Dell tell me if I was out of line or not. But we've been in negotiations on the Union Hall contract, which is across from Proof 124. And as always, it gets down to the what if everything goes bad, and how do we protect our interest? And the rest of the stuff in the contract, although is very worthy, is pretty typical. So I'm just gonna. So we got down
Fine
to
so far.
okay, huh?
It's fine so far.
I saw you wiggling your head.
It's making me
So we
nervous.
got down to the pivot point on what happens if something fails. So, we started, we get it all, and of course, that wasn't going to fly, and we slowly worked ourselves back into an agreement where we would, if all the wheels fell off the wagon and we had to buy this thing, we would pay the difference between the price now, what am I saying? Appraised value now versus an appraised value when at the time of the failure, so to speak. So, in the current appraisal is $123,500. So if it appraised for $850,000, we would subtract the $123,500 and pay the difference, and that would be a way to maintain control of that property if we saw fit. The other thing that's in there is that we have the authority to approve a sale to another restaurateur that, which would probably, in my opinion, be the most likely outcome. Just, try to get somebody else out there that has the same family-friendly style restaurant open 6 days a week that we would be proud to have alongside our park over there. I think those are the two fundamental pieces that we finally came to rest on, and I think everything else is, as we had discussed, the business plan is Appendix A, which is the business plan he provided, noting that there might be minor menu changes along the way, but everything else operationally should be pretty consistent. Dell, did I?
Yeah, you did great. You're like a lawyer up there.
I didn't say contemplates, though.
That's a good word. No, I think that I'm sure Mark Emerald's going to do a spread on our friend Tony Schroeder at some point, because he's awesome. He's doing great things, kind of with or without us. He's involved a little bit. I think it's no secret in Proof and the Hoosier Ice House, 4-speed on 50. The Hebron Grill is kind of how he kind of got introduced to Lawrenceburg through Darren, who was wonderful, but has kind of moved on, and Tony's stepped into that role and kind of wanted to create a restaurant group, which I think is terrific. But of course, it's incumbent upon us to hedge our bets always and protect our resources, and in terms of property and money, and an opportunity, which is kind of the intangible. We have had a real kind of 180 on philosophy in terms of the city and redevelopment, where we've said, look, we're not, the way the city used to do things, for better or for worse, was to kind of dump money into projects directly, and we've decided, hey, we're going to do everything else, and we kind of took a cue from Mario Todd and the way that the city has, since day one of the casino, invested heavily in infrastructure, and we kind of thought, well, why can't we do the same thing as redevelopment? You know, work around the edges, have a great Main Street, a great community center, a great concert series, great advertising. And then when we do contribute to projects, we do it like this, which is, you know, not giving away the farm, but putting people in a position to be successful, knowing that we've created this wonderful community that is, you know, full of great people. We invest in people first, I think, is what we've kind of always done, and we've gotten really lucky with people like Christian Strong or Mike Detmer, you know, even all of you up on the dais here. Just wonderful people that would be successful in any business that they participate in. So this agreement kind of says, hey, we're gonna let you take this Union Hall property and build your restaurant, just like we always do. Like with Ms. Erfman's project and any project, we take their business plan and we attach that as an exhibit to the construction or to the contract, whether it's a big contract like this or a smaller contract. They're all equally important, and so we kind of say, okay, you've presented something that has wowed us, and we're gonna hold you to that, and you're gonna hold us to that. And then in terms of specifics, Mr. Messmore's right. We're gonna let him occupy that property, improve it, and if he is able to run a successful business that matches substantially with the understanding can be some small changes for 5 full years, then the property is his. We think that's a great deal. If he's not able to do that for whatever reason, and we're knocking on wood always, then we would take the property back. We would pay him the average of the value, or the difference between the value now and the value after he's made improvements, because we know there are substantial improvements to be made over there: structural, HVAC, an elevator, a deck, a rooftop deck, so a lot of exciting things. So we feel like this is a way to balance all of those factors that I've just kind of laid out, and which is really your philosophy, not mine. You know, just kind of putting pen to paper with what you guys have done to make the city as successful as it is, and even more great, wonderful things to come. So those are the key terms, but I can answer any specific questions that you have. We've been back and forth with Mr. Schroeder and his group. They like these terms, so if you like these terms, then we can approve it, sign it, and be off to the races.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate that. I had a chance to look at it this afternoon. Does anybody have any questions in regard to the contract? Do we have a motion to move forward with the Union Hall contract, the economic development agreement between City of Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission and Schroeder Real Estate LCC?
So move.
We have a motion from Lenny. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Kevin. All in favor, aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Is there any additional, did you have anything to add?
No, I appreciate it. I mean, it takes a bit to get to where we get. There's a lot of influence. There's a lot of influencers, and I appreciate it. And like I always tell Lenny, you know, you can always answer the question the same way when somebody asks you, why do you do that? And the answer always is, we want to make, you know, downtown Lawrenceburg livable for the residents 7 days a week, flat out. And we want people to have a good time when they visit, so they come back. And it really does take the visitors, the outside influence, to help support the small businesses downtown to make it a livable community 7 days a week, so that our residents have access to these restaurants, to these small shops. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Quality of place, nice community. So, anyway, I appreciate your effort and your confidence.
Thank you, Ms. Messmore. Appreciate what you do. If we've had time, is there any additional old business? If not, we will move on. If we've had time to review the claims that have been provided for us in our packets, I will take a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
A motion by Kevin. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brian. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. And we have comments from the audience. We have no comments. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Janie, are you seconding our? okay.
I'm seconding.
my
All in
girl.
favor?
Get
Aye.
out of here.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
That's the part we always like.
Yes.
I move around.
Put it
Hey, it's been a little while since we saw each other.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, real nice.
Thank you.
They all work good.
That was great.